Hello, this is Reverend Dore, Jacques Patlian, teaching that perennial philosophy, the thread of truth that runs through all great religions that we call religious science or the science of mind. Today, Henry Ford and the paradox of wanting. We all want something, don't we? A new car, perhaps. Everybody loves a new car, right? We picked up our new car Saturday, and I took a Sunday drive down Longboat Key, past seaside mansions on the Gulf of Mexico to a lovely beach called Coquina Beach. White sand, sugar white, and blue, brilliant turquoise water. It seems that I've developed blogger's pallor. I'm white as a sheet, so sometime in the sun did me a world of good. Life is good. In fact, it's magnificent, so enjoy it to the fullest. What's wrong with wanting things? Well, more than you may realize. Actually, there's a great trap in wanting. The more you want something in your life, the more you unconsciously push it away. Have you ever noticed that when you are desperately looking for someone to love, you're seeking companionship and intimacy, it just seems further and further and further away until many just give up. Some get so desperate they go to speed dating. I never met anybody who hooked up with speed dating. That's when some people, desperately seeking partners, just settle for the first one that comes along that probably is nowhere near what they wanted or deserved. My dear mother used to call that state any port in a storm. Settling is a bit like having your kids out after 10 p.m. There's no good that comes of it. You're better than that. You do not ever have to settle as long as your expectations are reasonable. There's desperation or fear in wanting anything. When you want, the subconscious thought is that you expect not to receive. When you stop wanting and just chill and enjoy life, many times the right and perfect love appears, or you get pregnant when you've been trying so long. That happens very often. The trap lies in the fact that wanting anything is making a statement of lack. If you had it, you wouldn't be wanting it, would you? To want is to make a statement that you are in lack and limitation, and coming from that consciousness, you can never attract or bring prosperity or abundance. Like creates like. You can't harvest corn from planting radishes. You got to move from wanting to desire. Now, desire is different. It's a choice, not a need. Wanting comes from need, and we all know how much fun it is to be around needy people, don't we? Jeez. You must create what you desire from a consciousness that you already have it. The delivery is imminent. You must know that it exists in your life before you see it, feel it, taste it, or have it in your bank account. As Wayne Dyer put it so famously, you got to believe it before you're going to see it. You must have in your mind such a clear mental picture of your desire that you can taste it, touch it, move into it. My wife is building a house in her mind, her dream house, and she'll have it built before long because it's so real to her. She talks about it as if she were in the living room. She's sitting out in the casita beyond the pool. She's in the pool. She is living in it even though we haven't built it yet. That's what you need to do to create your dreams and your desires. You must live in the end of your desires, in the fulfillment, never in the wanting. You know, Henry Ford is a great example of this creative process in action. His first company failed. All his investors gave up on him. He was broke, and he had no idea how to proceed. Cars were a rich man's toy in 1905. I mean, you were a millionaire if you drove an automobile. Everybody else was on horseback or walking or taking the train. But he had a vision, a clear picture of cars in front of every home. Even the workers in his factories would own cars. You know, people laughed pretty hard at that in 1908. But he attracted investors and caught the vision. A vision of a car called a Model T was born, and the assembly line was born, so that they could turn out thousands and thousands of them. And the Ford Motor Company began putting America on wheels, and as they say, the rest is history. His vision was not of failure and despair. It was of making quality cars that everyone could afford. Imagine $500 for a brand new car. That was the price of the first assembly line produced Model Ts. Now $500 is about like $15,000 today, but it was still within reach of the working man if he worked hard and saved. To make sure that his own workers could afford his cars, he raised the wages in the factory to everybody from $2 a day to an unheard of $5 a day. Now, you know, $5 would have kept people for a week in those days. Ford became the best paid industrial company in America. Can you see that his vision was held and believed even though the facts seem hopeless? Can you see that his vision was for the highest and best for all concerned, even as workers prospered from it? Can you see that he did not just dream it, he lived it and empowered it with sky-high wages to ensure that all his workers could become his customers? This was radical thinking in the 1900s. No industrialist ever thought that way then. And he sure didn't make a lot of friends in the business community by raising wages that high. That made it real tough on them because then he had to raise wages. He gave and was thus prospered. Sure, it cost him a lot to pay $5 a day. That was unheard of. But he gained hundreds of thousands of customers he would not have had otherwise. And he was prospered beyond his wildest dreams. Now that's a spiritual principle at work. You give it and you will receive it. Now Henry was a hard man and a contrary one, with some views that would make some of us today choke. But he understood that as his workers prospered, so did he. He literally put America on wheels. He transformed this nation. Henry Ford had desires, but he never wanted anything. That is the key. To desire something is to see it clearly in mind with a consciousness that it's yours long before you receive it. Desire is the fountainhead of all creation, including each and every human on the planet. You know, if Mom and Dad had not had a desire to merge, neither you nor I would be here. No great ship, no great building, no great achievement ever happened without a desire and a vision of the completed project in the person's mind. Desire is abundance thinking. Wanting is lack thinking. To create abundance, you got to come from desire, but never from lack, limitation, or want. That pushes your good away from you. Want is a begging bowl life, while desire feeds abundance, happiness, and joy. You can choose either the begging bowl way of life or the life of desires fulfilled, aspirations achieved, and the peace of a happy heart. What's your choice? Bye-bye for now. Until we're together again, be well and happy and be at peace. This is Reverend Dore Jacques Patlian signing off from the Awakened Heart Center for Spiritual Living in Sarasota, Florida.